All right, let's just get right into it. We're not going to talk about feel-good motivation or waiting around for the right mood. This is about the raw, unfiltered truth of discipline, how you can literally force it into your life, especially on those days you'd rather do anything but the work.
And this quote? This is our foundation. It's not about some secret hack or waiting for a bolt of inspiration. It's about confrontation. It's about doing the thing you have to do precisely at the moment you don't feel like it. This right here is the truth that separates success from failure.
I want you to think about that for a second. Really think. How many opportunities have you lost? How many goals have you delayed just because you chose what was comfortable in the moment over what was necessary for your future? This isn't just some abstract idea, it's a reality we all have to face.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to win the war inside your own mind. Then we'll install a protocol for taking immediate action. After that, we'll build the kind of resilience that can withstand anything. And finally, we'll get you to a place where motivation, it becomes totally irrelevant.
Okay, let's start with part one. Before you can take a single disciplined action, you have to win the battle that's raging in your own head, because that's where discipline is either born or where it dies.
Let's be perfectly clear about who the enemy is here. Laziness isn't just, feeling tired. It's a strategic force that is actively working against you. It'll disguise itself as rest when you haven't earned it, or as busy work to keep you from the hard stuff that actually matters. It is the enemy of the future you claim you want. Look at the language here. On the left, it's a negotiation. It's weak, it's full of excuses. But on the right, those are commands. Direct, firm, leaving zero room for debate. This is the mental shift you have to make. You stop asking yourself what to do, and you start telling yourself what to do.
This means taking control of your thoughts is an active job. You have to learn to recognize those weak, negotiating thoughts the second they pop into your head. You interrupt them, and then you replace them with a strict, clear command. You're not a victim of your thoughts, you are the one in charge. Period.
All right, so we've laid the mental groundwork. Now let's build on it in the real world. This is the action protocol, the actual how-to for turning that mental resolve into tangible results.
This is the core principle. You got to understand that hesitation is the breeding ground for excuses. The moment you pause, your brain will flood you with 1,000 reasons to delay. The secret is to move so fast that the debate never even gets a chance to start.
And here's a brilliantly simple but super powerful tool for that. It's the instant response rule. The second you think, I should probably get up, or I should start that task, you immediately start counting down. 3, 2, 1, and you physically move. You don't give your brain time to argue. This simple habit shatters the cycle of hesitation.
Now, when you first start doing this, it's going to feel forced. It's going to be uncomfortable. You are consciously, deliberately carrying this new behavior on your back. It's going to take all your effort and willpower.
But if you stick with it through sheer repetition, something kind of magical happens. The neural pathways in your brain literally start to rewire themselves. What was once forced becomes automatic. The habit no longer needs you to carry it. The habit starts carrying you. It just becomes who you are.
Okay, so we're acting consistently now. But how do we make sure we don't just crumble when things get really, really hard? That's where we go beyond just daily actions and start building some long-term, unbreakable mental toughness.
Life is constantly giving you these two choices. You can choose relief, which gives you short-term comfort, but almost always leads to long-term regret. It just weakens your confidence. Or you can choose effort. Yeah, it's temporary discomfort, but it is the only path to long-term strength and building real, earned self-respect.
So, how do we make ourselves choose effort? We create productive pressure. We don't just wait for life to back us into a corner. We announce our goals out loud. We set sharp deadlines. We vividly imagine the real pain of not doing anything. We take on responsibility. This kind of pressure can override the seductive pull of just taking it easy. You have to see your impulses for what they are. That little urge to check your phone, to skip that last rep at the gym, or to put off that hard conversation, it's not harmless. It's a thief. Every single time you give in, it steals a tiny piece of your future strength and your self-respect.
And that brings us to our final and honestly the most powerful stage. The goal here isn't to be motivated all the time. That's a fantasy. The real goal is to get to a state where motivation just doesn't matter anymore. Let's talk about what that looks like. We have to completely redefine what motivation is. It's not the fuel you need to get started. Think of it as a nice tailwind. When it shows up, awesome. Enjoy the ride. But when it's gone, and trust me, it'll be gone most of the time, you just ignore its absence and you get to work anyway. You can't be dependent on it.
This right here, this is the mantra of a disciplined person. Your feelings? They're fleeting, they're chaotic, they're totally unreliable. Your decisions, on the other hand, are the commitments you made to your future self. True discipline is just honoring your decisions, regardless of the emotional weather report for the day.
You know, we have this whole thing backwards. We think we need to wait for energy or inspiration before we can act. But the source of that energy is the action itself. The hardest part is always just starting. Once you start moving, you create momentum, and that momentum generates the very energy you thought you were missing in the first place.
Ultimately, this isn't about learning some clever trick. It's about forging a new identity for yourself. It's about becoming the kind of person whose actions are not dictated by their feelings. You are the person who shows up, who does the work, who finishes the job. Anyway.
So I want you to remember this. Your future isn't forged on the easy days when you feel great and inspired. It's forged in the fire of those difficult moments. When you are tired, you're bored, you're uninspired, but you choose to act anyway. That is where discipline lives. That is where your best life is built. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build today?